Okay, I'm checking the voice, trying to get your attention. Keep it. I'm off to the charts, what I call chart land. And we have BTC up to begin with. And what in the world is that? We'll just start there. It's a Tuesday kind of video. It's Tuesday night. It's 9:33 p.m. 9/30/2025. As always, this is a client first video, YouTube exclusive. Please go down and subscribe. I have to think about all this stuff because I used to not do all this. We had the YouTube before because we had a YouTube before, bigger one. So like and subscribe, please, and make comments. And I have opened up a live YouTube. It's a live wire. I want to engage folks. I want folks that are doing crypto all the time and know stuff. Most of you guys that make it there, because I'm only going to do 50, because it's a private lockdown Telegram for my YouTube subs. Some of you guys that listen to this video are over there. Some of y'all ain't. And I'm gonna do it kind of slow. If alt season pops, it'll really slow down because I have my hands full with my other crew, my private crew. So it would be a step to get to the private crew to get over to the private crew and be able to chat because you can't have a lot of that stuff going on. I mean, out there in social media land anymore, there's just too much of BTC. So short term, more short term micro. Let's go micro the videos. The Tuesday drop, which is the Tuesday drop for me, but it's usually a Wednesday catch for you. So Saturday drop for me is usually a Sunday catch for you, maybe Monday. It may take a couple days. Sometimes it's a lot longer than that. So make sure you keep up with the videos if you're interested in what I do. And check your channels on YouTube. Check the voice. Check your channels on YouTube, and we have special channels. You go in and there's longer versions of videos, and you'll notice people are funny about let's get this along, but my videos I do 3 live rooms a week, and I start tomorrow Wednesday morning. I just moved my schedule to Wednesday morning, Thursday night, and Friday morning. I was doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday 9 a.m. New York. I'm a New York kind of man. New York time zone. I'm not a New York kind of man. I'm coast, southern, and that's all I give you. Most of y'all that are listening know. Pretty close to where I'm at. America. I don't know the Aussies, and I know the New Zealanders, and I have UK people, and the Asians, and the Canadians. The UK, and Aussies, two biggest crypto crowds that I've dealt with personally, other than Americans. Coinbase, Kraken. Lots of folks still use Binance. Lots of folks use KuCoin. Bybit. There's all these exchanges because I get a lot of questions if I show leverage on all these exchanges. It's different everywhere, and you better be careful. I want to talk about a little bit of leverage because we did the leverage calls. Was that you, Mr. Buddy? Did you just sneeze, kiddo? Hey. Oh, just sneeze. Lord, Mr. Buddy always finds a way into the video, and it's get kind of quiet down and breathe. So we did some leverage calls here on Bitcoin, and it did dip after I made the call on this. So we'll start right here. Micro. So we're more micro tonight. So for me, that would be let's go find the alts. For some people, that's let's go find a leverage trade. Well, I tend to go spend my time on the alts and because those are the more valuable things. So we'll keep those toward the end because lots of folks don't like alts or don't pay attention to alts. But if you're interested in the alts, they're going to come through at the end of the video. These videos are more, I feel like, more for the alts and Saturday night. Saturday night's that big picture because I can show you total one, total two, total three. We may scroll through total one, total two, total three. The story BTCD in the shorter term time frames could help with what? When this thing gets ready to turn again. So isn't that what we're waiting on, BTCD? Are we not waiting for this thing to turn again? And what does that mean? So a little bit of a BTCD tease the day I go on BTCD thing, and it doesn't need a whole video, but most people have no idea what they're looking at. So how am I going to explain BTCD dominance to a brand new person? You would have to go read about it and you'd have to listen and you'd have to understand it's really an indicator and a lot of people show it. And as soon as it started to do that, it's alt season. Is that really what that means? Well, you can see When this thing gets going, what happens? It usually dies. So every time that it's ever went down fast, what happens? It pretty much goes. So there may be a little bit more here. Crypto is pretty volatile because of leverage. You see that green moving average there? I know somebody's gonna love that I actually made it to this tonight, and I'll make sure it gets good and highlighted in there. Could it go higher? Could it be this type of situation where BTC is making a dip here and it's just preliminary and then boom now? What is that? Ooh, is it March? Is that around March? October 2020. Pretty sure, yeah. That's COVID. It should be COVID. Pretty sure. No, COVID's right here. This is something else I think I remember. It was before COVID. So you can see, and you know, what was going on with crypto from September 20th all the way up into December. And they flipped the year on me. So September, the end of the year, into 2020, all the way into 2021. Was that a bull? Where was alt season? Was this alt season all the way into April? What happens here? The BTC dominant spikes. What does that mean? That means that BTC got stronger than most of the rest of the market, punished Ethereum BTC, and then lost its dominance after it spiked up into about 71 and 72. A lot of people like to talk about these levels of dominance and what it means. And you know, they tend to go about it in a different way than I think about it. Is what I'll say. But a lot of people do tend to go round and round and round with this stuff. If you listen to them too much, I normally can't listen to them too much. I come and do my own work. So the market's not the same. So all of this that we were just looking at with BTCD, you know, BTCD, BTCD. Let's do the D. D. Put the base in at 9:40 p.m. So I'm about 10 minutes into the video. 9:30, 2025. And was the dip like this dip that just happened right here? Is that what like that? And now, boom. What does that mean? Is BTC going to blow a top all by itself? That's normally what kind of happens, doesn't it? So would it surprise me? Not really if BTC took off. Now, what kind of damage would that do to the alts? Normally, BTC gets too strong in the past. It really will start affecting the alts because everybody run to BTC. I don't think you really got so much of those mechanisms going on like that if you've been around crypto for a while. So I'm more in the camp right now that all of this has been stalled so long. I'm not in the camp it has to go up so high before you get somewhere or anything like that. I use other stuff that we're more in a situation like that, and that they're going to come and meet. If they go up any higher here, they could just go. But it hasn't been too much of a stall here, even though a lot of people, and it's gotten quiet, and it's gotten rather quiet, and it's been quiet for a long time. So a push up into these areas, which just means that BTC, well, it just means that BTC is going to be stronger for a while. And that would take me into Ethereum BTC. And this video has gotten rather technical fast, and which is not so good for newer folks. But I would suspect that most of y'all checking in and really paying attention to this right now are pretty schooled in any of this because a lot of y'all know me already. So just think about the Ethereum BTC and the correction and how if Ethereum's done, and this goes into a whole other thing, and this I'll go to Ethereum after this. If Ethereum's bounces over and it's not going any deeper, and we're going bull 10,000 Ethereum, 10,000, I caught it. The banks got it actually. I didn't believe in it, but it seems to me more and more than that's very much on the table to look at Ethereum and say that it could do more than a little bit of a double here. I don't think it's too much of a stretch, which is what some of the other stuff others doing. The risk, the pot stocks, all kinds of stuff. So if BTC was to take off and Ethereum was to sleep right here, this chart would correct, which it technically looks like it needs to correct. So it is a warning sign for anything you do with Ethereum is, hey, you know, there may be some volatility here where Ethereum really goes down. Now, remember when Ethereum and BTC start moving, and, you know, especially when they take hits and stuff, the way that they move around from these hits can be rather different. And what I mean is, Ethereum may get stuck on the moving average while BTC's blowing, and that would cause Ethereum BTC to take blood and retrace, which is the risk here is when you look, and I'll just kind of freeze go. So we're going to stop on Ethereum right now. No, I just took some of y'all through probably a head spinning kind of exercise with BTCD and Ethereum BTC. And what I suggest is you clip it out. I'll clip it out probably and show it. I won't get a lot of interest in something like that. Where's the trade at, Scott? I want to make money. The trade, the leverage trade was right here on Ethereum. This week is what I'll say. The lineup on this green moving average on this time frame dates are. Now I made a video and it won't come on YouTube, but these moving averages I have on my chart, you can get them by typing in TCL moving averages. And I can't show you in this video. I'll just click on those indicators. You see TCL moving averages, and you can add them, and you can have these moving averages for any of you guys have been around, have seen me around and stuff. If you got any questions, it's pretty easy to come and put these, and they're really good, and you'll see me use them, you see me talk about them. The big thing with the time frames and the moving averages, or the big thing with the moving averages for me is using them with the time frames and really getting the visuals and then having the math to lay above them, lay over them, and really be able to understand what you're looking at and study it and see things. And here is something that I showed as this was progressing here, is the price the price reaction or the price action that shows up on the green. So that's a good what trade? Is that a good trade? Is it a good trade setup? Is it a trade? Is it a trade idea? Have you missed it? It depends on what your goals are. Getting crypto that's up at the top, pushing in the price discovery to double, yeah, it's very possible. And I'm sitting here it's telling you that my targets reach up into 10,000 now. I think it'll be hard for the folks that may get up in there. The volatility that shows up at the top, all the different things that happen at the top of these things when they blow, will cause you to make very bad decisions. And all you have to do is look in the past. So you have to remember, especially if you're in this to get your money out and make money and not longer term. Maybe you've decided that you're not selling your Ethereum until 20 years from now. Some people have got to that point. If you'd have did that with BTC a long time ago, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. That's what I'll tell you. But if you don't sell last time at about 42 or 43 right there, you get probably about a 30 to 40% haircut. Which looks great to traders. 60% and then goes back up and gives you how much if you deride that out. So that's more of a trading situation. I'm gonna be I'm gonna have most of y'all out before you see that. This is where the traders come in. This is where people get really messed up, and they just don't do what they're supposed to. An investment person in crypto should be mostly sold out at this point if they can read from below and pull fibs. Okay, the fibs will line up. I want you to notice the volatility. Now, I happen to be on Kraken. Notice the volatility on these wicks as Ethereum went up. And the volatility here, you see it on the wicks too. Kraken's liquidity, but they tend to wick a lot over here. I call it fishing. You can come over to Kraken and sometimes catch some really good prices on cryptos when they're creating these wicks. And you can see they create a wick and they kind of bounce up and they go down. And they pretty much fix these orders and they take off again. Didn't get very far on Ethereum. The big correction on Ethereum and now the big rip. And they're wanting to be bullish is the message that is going to come through with everything that I just showed you with BTCD and Ethereum BTC. This has a lot to do with it because if Ethereum's going to go bullish off this green moving average right here, that means that, for the most part, Ethereum BTC is not going to correct unless BTC becomes a little bit more stronger. So it goes into that. Have they created, it's ugly. That's what I'll say about what they've done here. But they've done the same damn thing here. So is this not looking the same? So much the same. So is that not the type of price action you're looking for liftoff? And the liftoff from here was 25 and they went to 5. And I tend to believe that they can push that high. And why? Because of the rest of the other markets out there. Where I'll tell you to pull your fibs is this is more like most likely what they're going to do on the Fibonacci's is extend out and go. Let's see if we make it a 10. And you can see it makes it to, I kind of moved it around just a little bit. I like the 618 hit. I like the 1.27. Sometimes I like to pull down like here and say, okay, well, maybe that's a lot of times what it'll be. The banker's fib is 1.27, giving them seekers away. But I like this. This is my Forex training. And this is what tends to work the most for me. But you can see you got resistance over here. But for the ones that say, "Ah, no, I can't do that," yes, it can. You haven't watched crypto long enough to be saying that it can't do that. The banks told you, I didn't believe it. Everybody sealed the hell out of it, and then they did that. And I'm glad I didn't believe it because that's what happened. Although this looked rather bullish, and I was thinking they were going to go ahead and push to 6 or 7. Now that the way that they've laid all this out and the risk that's come through the markets, we'll see. Usually I'm pretty conservative when it comes. I don't think this will be a conservative call with Ethereum. I'm laying Ethereum 10,000 out there. They'll need to break this pattern and set it up, and it'll be a more stern. It's not. That's what I think they're going to do. If you've got your money in Ethereum, and real man, what I'll tell you guys, and I have plenty of my content. These were the two places that my folks were shown this and given the opportunity to get in. Although we would have got anybody trading this or anybody watching my stuff here would have gotten stopped out. The longer term, that's a big discussion longer term because there's still some things down in these areas that I'm just not sure about. And I'm not sure that you won't see in the future with a dot-com collapse, AI bubble. This thing do this. I'm not in the camp that these things are going to hold this. So here and then how far does it fall? How far does it fall? You guys, I think that's about 20 minutes. No, let me roll the board here. There's Ethereum. So it's a Tuesday. So Light Link was a video. It was in one of the videos. You'll see me come back to all that. I want you guys to. I would like for you guys to go down in the comments. What I'll tell you is either you give me 10 or 20 minutes, and I try to remember everything I'm supposed to do, tell the story, tell about all this stuff, and then show. This is why my rooms used to be 2 hours. I do them for an hour now. So like I told you guys, Wednesday morning, Thursday night, Friday morning, live. But it's not YouTube and it's not free. So I'll tell you that. But there's going to be a live wire in the Telegram for some of you guys, and you can come over and contribute. And then if you're not interested in any and all that stuff, come down and what question can I ask you? All right, the question I'll leave tonight with this one is Ethereum. Are we going to see 3,000 or are we going to see 10,000? I think is the numbers where I got when I was originally looking at this, I was looking at about 37, 34. I think I got to about 34, 37. So this was the area that I was looking for the correction. We got it, not a deep one. And now the conversation in here is this all the correction or are we going down lower? Because a lot of people have BTC going down lower right now. A lot of TA people. I tend to be more bullish right now. They're going to have to give me a little bit more blood. Everything has risk all over the table, and there's a lot of pumping and a lot of stuff going on out there in the other markets. You can see, I'll just leave you with Hood. Look at that. Good gracious. Company specific news and stuff like that, but I can find this type of what I call candle porn across the board as I roll down and I look at a few things. Litecoin, guys, if you're interested in Litecoin, we'll be coming back to Litecoin. Link, I just gave you a pretty good tease, kind of a dose with it. But when I'm gonna go hardcore into some of these coins, I'm gonna do those for an hour and get deep into lessons and really teach my other content that I do. I only really can kind of breeze through it and kind of show you some things and put your eyes on some things and mention some things. The metals continue to push, so we got that going on. We had some good bounces out there. Quant sitting around 100, so the mining stocks have been very interesting. Bitcoin mining stocks. And I've been meaning to get to that. Let's take a peek at the rut real fast too. And you can see the rut just came out here and ripped. Is it over? I was looking at them to go down into these areas and do something like this right here. And they've ripped right back up. So they've went up and bounced, went down and ripped right back up the rut. A very interesting chart. Is there a black swan coming? And what would it do to this chart? And is this chart just going to basically ride this red moving average forever, except for major dips? It just had one. It just had one, really. So it had. So when you look at this chart, look at that red moving average. Look at what's going on. Triple top almost is you start to see a possible triple top, but honestly, any kind of dips up under this red moving average, especially if you're tracking small caps, looks very interesting there as I roll down the board. Where are we going? I was going to get to the metal. Sui. I got some coverage out there where I nailed this short. Is Sui going to 10? Told you I'd slip in some alts at the end. This is one of my first calls in alt season really down here. And there's a very 10-9, 10. I think a lot of these people who put these early calls out there, they may get them right if we can really get the liquidity to turn on and run these. And I think as I roll down the board, it's pretty flat out there. Flat, 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 flat. The VIX was spiked a little bit. We're waiting on jobs numbers at the end of the week, more micro. So jobs numbers, jobs numbers, jobs numbers, jobs numbers, jobs numbers, Friday. And then we'll see. It's best that they come out flat, because if they're flat, then we're going to get more rate cuts and it's not bad. Look at silver. Going again, 47. My call was around about the 20 area right through here. And we're reaching up to basically the 50, which is I do silver 50 and I do silver 100. And I think that's a long enough video for you guys. That's actually my silver 200. So I'll leave you. I think I've done this to you before on silver 200. What's going on with BTC? I'm looking for that move that I broke out to you guys. It just come back again. And it actually dipped a little bit lower than when I first started showing it to you. That's just a kind of a chart that I was working on. Thinking about the more not so bullish scenario and what actually would happen here. As you can see this chart now, and I'll clear it as BTC kind of lingers here. And what are we going to do? A little bit of stall out here, and this red moving average catches up here pretty good. And it's going to really look like this thing has come down and tested. Well, it looked like it'll be come down here and tested. So, if this thing takes off and gets above there, we're making a higher low and a higher high. And which speaks that we're going higher, which will take us into that 141, 150. And I still feel like that's what we're going to do. That's what I feel like we're going to do, and I've discussed that in these videos. All right, clients, I'll drop that one, and then I'll be live in the morning, and I'll dig up some more stuff for us. You kind of get an idea of what's going on there, and I'll dig into it hardcore and a little bit deeper in the morning, and we'll dig into some of these alts. But you can see, for the most part, quiet. We had some green. The privacy coins, I'll leave you with that as well. The privacy coins having a little bit of run. Zeke and Zen, reach out in the comments. I want to be in your YouTube channel, Scott. I know who you are. I want to be back, and I want to come over there and participate and come over and I got 50 spots, but about 15 or 15, 25 I'm gonna be taking pretty fast. So that's what I got for you guys tonight, and I'll see you in the next one.